Yes. Welcome back to Squeeze the Juice. Week number 10 is already here. The season is already spiraling to endless existence, as you could say.
I know.
That was a little dramatic, but
It is though. We only have 4 short weeks left.
It's unfortunate, This is one of the best times of the year, The best time of the year. Christmas is around the corner, but I don't want to jump that yet because Thanksgiving and the rivalry games that are still left to be played amongst all the drama.
I know, but we are already in week 10. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And through 9 weeks, Justin, you've been sensational. 3-2 last week, 23-17-2 overall. I had a nice week, bounced back 4-1. I'm 22-2 overall. So we are almost at even.
Positive
almost
insight.
At even. It's been a long time coming since 1-9. But let's get into the games last week. Oklahoma upset on the road against Kansas. What a thriller that was.
Something in my
lightning
gut.
delay.
Ugh.
You had an Oklahoma defense that didn't know how to stop Jason Bean. What a performance that was by Kansas. Just awesome to see. They storm the field. They take out the field goal post, throw it in the river or the lake, whatever they threw it in.
Who knows what it is out there.
Awesome. I didn't even know they had water in Kansas. I just thought it was grass for miles.
How do they grow crops?
I don't know. But what a performance by Kansas.
It shook me up, man. I was rattled because, you think a little bit of a bounce-back game, but Oklahoma has maintained complacency.
Until last week.
I guess so. Yeah. That was the point. Everyone was hyped up. They've been playing good. Then they got that win against Texas, which went to the end, by the way. Like, it wasn't just they won the game, by a touchdown, like 2 touchdowns or whatever.
Last plays of the game.
Literally, last play of the game. You come back, you think you're like, all right, let's ride hot, let's keep being good. You survive in the last seconds against UCF at home.
Yeah.
And then you go on the road and you think, all right, you had to shake that off, right? You were riding that high. You kind of got a little reality check at home. You go on the road to Kansas, who you've beaten plenty of times before. They may look like they're ranked and they may look decent, but still, you thought a bounce-back game? No.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself, but how about a team that just so consistent, man? They're not like Oklahoma. Week in, week out, you know what you're getting, and that is the Georgia Bulldogs. Statement win over Florida.
That's crazy.
I know Florida, we've talked about them, not the best team, but they're still a decent squad.
They're
It's a rivalry game, and they won by 30 points. I mean, what a performance by the Dogs.
Was it in the Swamp? No, it was at home.
Neutral site.
Oh, that's why. That's why I was always thrown off.
So, I mean, nothing more can be said about Georgia. That was a nice cover for us. They were minus 14.5 point favorites. Excellent pick, Justin. And then how about Louisville? 23-0. Louisville. Dominating performance against Duke. Riley Leonard, clearly not the same QB he was at the beginning of the year. That injury is really bothering him still. And you can tell because their offense is just not humming the same way it was. But Louisville, impressive shutout performance. This is a really good team.
It is. And now Riley Leonard will be supposedly out for an extended period of time with the foot injury. So we'll see what happens with them down the line. It's an end probably for Duke this season.
Yeah, and maybe Mike Elko will be coaching somewhere else in the fall of 2024. We will see. Tennessee, Kentucky, nice, sneaky, squeaky cover for the Volunteers over Kentucky. I believe they won by 5.
Thank goodness.
Kind of a dirty game, kind of a scrappy game, not high scoring, but we'll take covers when we can get them. And the main reason why is because the last game, Oregon, Utah. Justin, that was a reality check for your boys.
It was.
Bo Nix came into town 35-6. Utah is done. I have overcome Utah.
Finally.
Bo Nix for Heisman. The race is on.
Evan overcame the boogeyman.
I did.
I mean, it was tough to see. Utah couldn't get anything going. Oregon played a great game end to end. They were dominant. They were aggressive. I mean, they were just Bo Nix was clicking with that offense on all cylinders. And I mean, if right now I know Washington, I love Washington. You know, I was rooting for them. I picked them in that game. I know they were at home and it was a close one. And obviously we talked about the mistakes. But to me, right now, if the way Oregon's playing, if they play again in the Pac-12 championship, I think Oregon is going to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You put this game at Autzen or at a neutral site,
it's true.
I think Oregon wins, right?
Absolutely.
But going into Rice-Eccles, going on the road against Utah, that's a really tough place to play. And to not only win, but to win in the way that they did. I mean, the score was 35-6. Utah was never in the game. They never had a shot. And not many teams can do that. I mean, when you think about it, Utah, it was 29 of 30 games that they had won at home. That's insane. And to go on the road and beat them in a just a blowout fashion, that's impressive. And that's not just a bad game for Utah. That was Oregon football at its best. They're a physical team. They have the flashiness too. They have the speed. They're a really exciting team to watch. And for me, I think they're a top 3 team in the nation right now. I do. I think they're that good.
I honestly wouldn't disagree with that because to me, you hit you technically should have won, but suffer an unfortunate loss at Washington early in the season on the road, right? And they've been dominant aside from that. And Washington's had some suspect games since then.
They have.
I mean
they got lucky against Stanford.
And
I mean, are you kidding me?
Exactly. And we're going to be talking about them later in this big game, which could be another suspect game for them, even though it's a ranked opponent. And I don't know. To me, unless Washington's really ready to lock in and like meet Oregon at that point, it's Oregon's conference to lose.
I agree. And with that, let's get on to week 10 here. 5 games for you. Beautiful, beautiful slate.
Yes, sir, man.
Cannot wait to get started. This first one, it's a helmet game.
It's a helmet game. Bring out the boys. Shout out the double twos, double deuce, Deuce Vaughn, the boy. K-State, love it, live it, enjoy the helmet. This one is in frustration right now. That one's okay. That one we won't talk about that one right now. We'll wait till next season. We'll wait till next season when the big contract comes in for the man himself.
We'll see.
All right, game 1. Kansas State heads to Austin against the Longhorns. Longhorns favored by 3.5. The Hook. Shout out the Hook.
This is a hook 'em hook game, right? I mean, 3.5 point spread here in Austin. Obviously, no Quinn Ewers still.
No Quinn Ewers. Malik Murphy, right?
We saw Malik Murphy last week. He looks the part, right? He's a physical specimen, about 6'4", 230, something like that. He's got an Anthony Richardson kind of body.
He does.
He's impressive.
But he's no Anthony Richardson.
He's no Anthony Richardson, that's for sure. But, I mean, on the other side of the ball, Avery Johnson for K-State is a problem. This dude is some weird dual threat, but like mainly a runner. He's sensational. And then you pair that with Will Howard, who obviously has the cannon. He's got the arm. It's a really interesting combo, and it feels like K-State's hitting their stride right now.
They really are. And the big thing that people may not think about is this Kansas State defense has been playing incredible lately. They have not allowed a touchdown in 9 quarters of straight football.
That's impressive.
The defense is
Chris Kleiman's got the boys humming.
The defense is also 7th in points per drive. I mean, they're locked in. If the offense is going, Kansas State, we've known in the past, we're like, maybe they're not as dangerous this year, with the loss of Deuce Vaughn and some other guys. But they're still right in the mix, man. You can't count them out. Maybe not for the Big 12, but as still a top contender, they're right there.
They're sneaky. Right. It's not the same K-State team last year that won the Big 12. I don't know if they're a Big 12 team this year, or like a Big 12 champion team this year, but they're good for one win that you might not have expected, right? And this could definitely be the week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you go and look at what they've been able to do this season so far, in what many considered a rebuilding year to some sort, right? You've lost some talent on offense and defense. You're kind of in this weird state of where the Big 12 is changing, right? And with it, K-State was changing too. They've been impressive. And I have to give a shout out to, and I want to get his name right, Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott. I watched him when we were watching Missouri K-State earlier in the year when Missouri pulled out the win. But Ben Sinnott, he's like this weird tight end fullback combo. And he's just a Swiss Army knife, kind of like a more athletic Kyle Juszczyk.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He can do it all, and he is the key to their offense. And it's really difficult to guard him because he has speed, he has strength, he has quickness and agility. He probably more of a fullback than a tight end, but he can line up as a tight end. He's a really great receiver. And when I was watching him, I was really impressed. Ben Sinnott is his name. If you haven't gotten to see him play yet, please watch him in this game. He is absolutely the guy to look out for. Number 34. I like K-State, dude. I'm going to take the 3.5 hook here. I think Texas can win, but I think it's going to be a close one. Field goal game is the way I like it. So give me K-State on the road.
I think we're on the same vibe on this one. I mean, Texas is still Texas. You know, they'll be at home. But Quinn Ewers is such a dynamic player, and not having him on the field, especially him being in the quarterback position, is really going to hurt Texas. I agree. I think they might squeak it out. Could be an upset. Could end their chances. And I think this could be the game. Could be the game we're looking at. That could.
But you're talking about that defense against Malik Murphy. I mean, Malik Murphy he did not look special.
No.
I mean, if that K-State defense is what you're saying it is, and I mean, they're not letting up any points right now. They keep that same momentum going. It's going to be really tough for a backup QB to come in and deliver. And we all know that Arch Manning is just not ready yet.
No.
I mean, he's a true freshman. Give him some time. I know he's, heralded as the next great thing, but he's still a true freshman. You got to give the kid some time. K-State all day. I think that's where you're at, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's the smart pick here. And it's only at 52% of the public, like K-State. So it's not like this crazy public dog here. It's pretty 50-50 in terms of the public and which side they like. So I love K-State here. I think it's a great pick.
Go Wildcats, baby.
And we got the helmet on the table. We got to support.
Ride it. Ride it.
Unless they're in the Big 12 championship game.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that hurt me, man. I mean, when
throwback,
it was tough, man. I went on the other side, and the QB gave his life on that field. He literally died, and then probably came back on that field.
That was a great game for Max Duggan.
It was crazy. I mean, they got the win in the end, right? They got to go to the playoffs. They got to go play for national championship. Yeah. Unfortunately, they got smacked in the face, but we knew what Georgia was.
Yeah.
So, on to game 2. Missouri heads to Athens. The Bulldogs of Georgia favored by 15.5. This is a big game for Missouri because this is kind of the big end right here. Like the winner of this game is going to, no matter what, claim pretty much the SEC East, it's pretty much a lock that Georgia's going to. But I mean, Missouri's the only threat right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is Georgia's biggest game to date.
Absolutely.
And you know what we say about games that Georgia has to win. They show up. And I love what Brady Cook has done with Luther Burden and oh my gosh, Weiss, I think his name is.
Yeah.
They have a really solid receiving core in Missouri, and that offense is really fun. I believe Kellen Moore's younger brother is the OC.
Oh, really?
For Missouri. Yeah, so
interesting.
Really, really fun team, but at the end of the day, you're going into Athens against a Georgia team that's hot, and defensively, Georgia's looked better than ever, right? I think they're gaining confidence each and every week, and Carson Beck is doing the same thing. With the defense getting better, Carson Beck is looking better, and that without Brock Bowers, they put up 43 points. I mean, come on.
I mean, Carson Beck's thrown over he's hit over the 300-yard passing yard mark in 4 of the last 5 games.
He's been that good. And it's shocking early on. He looked a little flaky, a little shaky.
It's rust, right? Starter.
Yeah.
He's not used to it.
He just needed to get a little comfortable, get a little adjusted. He's looked really good. I think it's the Dogs all day here, minus 15.5. I know it's a big number, but the public's heavy on Missouri. 65% is on Missouri, and I'm not going to bet the Bulldogs, back-to-back national champs, at home in their biggest game to date. You know what I think about the Dogs.
Yeah, and when they're feeling hot, and people are going to look at that 15.5, and that 15.5 is going to scare them.
Right, because Missouri's look really good.
Exactly.
And they have the offense to keep up with Georgia, and they can obviously backdoor cover as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing we were worried about. But also Missouri, it's through the air. Through the air is their key. So if Georgia can shut down the passing game, it's pretty much wraps. But to me, the key is Georgia's run game versus the Missouri passing game. What one will prevail more? And with the Georgia defense at home, it's tough to top that, man. It's tough to top that.
It is.
And I really was thinking Missouri all week, but I can't go against Georgia. I really can't right now. If Georgia's hot, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to face Georgia right now?
No one. Let's be real.
And I mean, look, it's totally not. It's nonsense to me. But Georgia getting ranked 2 in the college football playoff, that is going to be their entire momentum this week from Kirby Smart.
Absolutely.
They don't think we're good enough to be number 1. That's what he's telling his team right now.
He's like, we're on the verge of a 3-peat, and they don't think we're worthy.
They still don't think we're the best. So go prove it, and that's what's going to happen in this game. So Georgia all day, minus 15.5. Don't be afraid of the number against a good Missouri team.
It's true. I mean, Stroud almost made a point last year, but Kyle McCord ain't Stroud, and he's not going to make a point.
No, if it was OSU Georgia, OSU would have to get it done through their defense somehow.
Absolutely.
And that's a tall order against this Georgia offense the way it looks right now.
Absolutely.
But if Georgia wants to do it all again, Brock Bowers, he might need to be there.
But that's the thing. He may be out for the rest of the season, but he could be there for another national championship.
I know,
run.
we'll see.
And Brock is the kind of guy that would show up. He wouldn't skip it.
Right.
He would. I mean, especially if a championship's on the line, he's going to play for it. Obviously, if they're in a bowl game, he may consider, but they're not going to be in a bowl game. They're going to be in the playoffs.
This is a playoff team.
Yeah,
this is a playoff team.
Yeah, I know. All right. Go Dogs. On to game 3 already. They keep coming back to us. Little Boomer Sooner, week 3 or 4 that we've had them up here. They head to Oklahoma State, the Battle of Bedlam. Boomer Sooner on the road after all this madness, favored by 5.5.
Yeah, it's a weird number.
This could be
5.5 number is always one that I like to take the underdog in, especially if they're at home. But I feel like I could be falling into a trap too,
I understand that. I mean, Oklahoma State has looked good. They've been on the rise. Oklahoma has been on the downfall. This could be the last potential matchup for a while between them, or at least, what they call the Battle of Bedlam as Oklahoma heads to the SEC. I don't know how often we're going to see this matchup.
I know.
They might try to bring it back in later years in like a non-conference, kind of way.
Right.
Kind of throw it in there. Be like, yeah, we missed the old days, but I still think it's idiotic to me that Oklahoma and Texas are going to the SEC. Because I think they could end up
follow the money.
That's what they're going to do. They could end up sitting in the ranks and vibing with who do I want to say? There's some team that I'm thinking of. They're just going to join the rally that Texas A&M has been on. All that money, all that talent, and nowhere to go.
Find themselves between like Ole Miss and A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right, sitting right in there. All that money and just bleh.
Well, you might be right there, but in this game,
to me,
I don't really know what to do. Like, it seems obvious to go Oklahoma State, but the public is smashing OK State. 75% on the Cowboys.
To me, this game's won in the trenches. It's one in the trenches, and whose run game is going to be the most dominant.
It's funny you say that because last week Dylan Gabriel was unable to throw the ball because of the weather conditions. This week, you expect it to be a little bit drier in Oklahoma.
Weather conditions. The boy who played probably in monsoons in Florida was complaining about weather conditions.
It was windy. It was rainy. There's a difficult place to play.
Kansas, where there's no water.
A Kansas storm.
That'd be sick.
I'm gonna do the unthinkable here. I'm gonna take the Sooners again. I hate this pick.
I can't.
I hate this pick. But here's why I'm doing it. Everyone is going to be off of Oklahoma this week. They just lost to Kansas. You feel like you're going to rule them out now. They're kind of done. At the end of the day, they still only have one loss. It was a bad loss, but maybe it was a loss like, Ohio State losing to Purdue or Iowa or something like that where it was just kind of a fluky one-off loss, and the next week you'll see them. Now, I know predating this loss, you had the UCF game, you had the Cincinnati game where they didn't look so hot. So maybe it's just who they are, and I'm just going to doubt what we've seen. But I think at the end of the day, Oklahoma is still a very quality football team, and they can get this done. There's a reason why they're 5.5-point favorites on the road. That number is scary, but I'm gonna trust Brett Venables to turn it around one more time. And if he doesn't, then I'll be the clown in the clown car. Okay, I'll be the clown. I'll be driving the clown car. But I'm gonna take Boomer Sooner here one more time, -5.5.
Oklahoma State Cowboys, man. They rank 4th in the country in yards per rushing attempt and number 23 in yards in rushing per game. I can't in good faith take Boomer Sooner. I think Oklahoma could win, but to me, they haven't been showing up. They haven't been showing up.
They haven't.
I don't care about the Texas game at this point in time. You'd think that a close scare at home would have had them bounce back. Is a loss going to be the reason to bounce back? Or are they just going to keep crumbling and it's over?
You're asking questions that will be answered, but I can't give them to you.
To me, if they lose this game, it's done.
Yeah,
they're done.
I agree.
Gone. No, they shouldn't even. You could argue they shouldn't even have a shot at the Big 12 championship. They only have 2 losses. They'd have 2 losses, win over them, send the Cowboys to the moon.
I mean, if K-State gets it done,
that's another thing. K-State and Oklahoma State could be sitting there right on Texas's heels if they both pull off wins this week. So I can't in good faith take Boomer Sooner. I don't doubt that would happen, because that would happen, right? They come off a loss. You decide to change it up and pick them. I don't pick them. They hit for you. That's how certain things roll around here. But I'm taking the Cowboys. What happened to Oklahoma State, man? They used to just be riding the wave. They always be, a 1 or 2 loss team, kind of hit their strides. And I know they're still a 2-loss team, but it seems like they just disappeared all season until kind of right now.
It's not the same OK State team, but it's still
with Mike Gundy or whatever.
Yeah, they still got Mike Gundy. I mean, it's still a really good football program.
Yeah,
it's just
they're not.
You're not going to have 10, 11 win seasons every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is one of those years.
Fair.
They still only have 2 losses, so and if they win this game, they're well on their way to another 9, 10 win season.
You're not wrong. All right, another battle. I go against the Boomers.
I don't love it, but
I went against them. They won. I was with them. They lost. I'm against them again. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. It should be a good one.
All right, on to the next. Game 4. The Huskies head to the Colosseum against USC. The Trojans favored by 3, and they have been struggling. But honestly, so is Washington. It's an interesting game, man. Both still ranked. To me, a loss here might boot USC out of the top 25 potentially. A lot on the line for Washington, trying to keep, maintain that undefeated season. And I feel like even if they lost, they probably would more than likely still have their shot at the Pac-12 championship. But, being undefeated is key. Being undefeated is key right now. And a lot of people don't like them, honestly, inside the top 5 in the new rankings. A lot of people want to have them outside because, people, well, obviously, record-wise, it helps maintaining, but a lot of people, like we've discussed, do believe that Oregon, is the better team. But
yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this, man, because both defenses are kind of not that great. Washington's defense is slightly better, but honestly, both are not good.
No,
this might be just an air raid evening.
It's going to be 43-42.
I forget what the over is projected.
I believe it was 70.
Yeah, it's something high.
8, 76 and a half.
Could you imagine? It's like a 60-60 game or something.
It could be. It really could. But, gosh, 3 points? That's a tight spread. I mean, this really is it's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be fireworks and long touchdowns and very little defense. It's going to be very entertaining and exciting to watch, but someone's got to win this game, right? And the way that Washington has been playing right now, it's been very concerning. This defense is not capable of competing with the likes of an Ohio State, a Georgia, a Michigan, Oregon again. I think if they got him again, it would be a much different story. It's a very concerning thing. And while I do like what Kalen DeBoer has done, and Michael Penix in this offense is super fun, right? Roma Dunze, Jalen McMillan, right? They got old MSU player, Jeremy Bernard or something like that. They got guys everywhere on offense, but this to me feels like a Caleb Williams classic. He's going to cook up one more vintage performance, right? He's heard all the noise. Now people are putting Drake May ahead of him in their rankings.
I saw those.
It's time for Caleb to prove everyone wrong once again that he is still Caleb Williams. He's still that guy. It's this week. It's now or never. It's their biggest game to date, right? They've had Notre Dame. They've had Utah. Look, you've had a couple of bad games. And you barely escaped against Cal. It's time to now prove your worth. Prove why you're still him. I'm taking the Trojans +3. Fight on all day. I have to do this for me. It's like Oregon and Utah last week. This is for me. This pick is for me. Get it done, Caleb. USC +3 at home. Let's get it done, boys.
Oh, man. It's tough, man. When you realize how trash, honestly, both defenses are, and their offenses are pretty much top 5 in points per drive.
Yeah.
Washington's 5th and USC 6th. I mean,
these offenses are crazy.
It's insane. And
they just cannot defend anything.
It's so sad that they don't have defenses. And that's why Oregon is looked at as the superior team, because they actually have a defense. Unlike the rest of the Pac-12. You could argue that Oregon State has a pretty decent defense.
They have a really good defense.
But, and that's the factor. But their offense isn't that overpowering like the rest of them. And that's their slight weakness. I'll tell you what, man. It's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be a tight one. Definitely going to be high scoring. I love Michael Penix and the Huskies. But
here we go.
I think this might turn into the Huskies' first loss.
Oh!
And I'm going with USC +3 on this one.
All right, man. That is bold for you.
I am deeply concerned about this game.
You should be.
I am deeply concerned. Does it because USC is coming into this saying, "You people writing us off.
Yep.
Caleb's being disrespected."
Yep.
And guess what? We're still USC, and now with 2 losses, we got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, and guess what? The public, 61% is on Washington.
That's even a better reason to take USC.
The public is not on USC.
Look, USC hasn't been favorable to me when I'm picking them, but you know what? Michael Penix and that defense, if you're about it, now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Put up or shut up after the way you've been playing.
No,
I love you guys, but I think they might lose.
Trojans.
Fight on.
Wow. Shocking.
It's tough.
I love it.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Tough to go against the fandom. But you gotta let it ride.
I think our next game is the most difficult to pick.
Absolutely.
I cannot. I don't know which way to go.
Final game, Game 5. The big battle. LSU heads to Tuscaloosa. Bama favored by 3 at home. Jaden Daniels has been playing out of his mind. You could argue that if this defense was better on the LSU side, they could be more prominent, and Jaden Daniels could be looking at an automatic Heisman almost. But it's because of the team, man. Because of the team that he's not where he could be. There's a lot of keys here, man. I got a lot of different factors. To me, top 3 factors in this game. Jalen Milroe and his arm versus the LSU secondary, right? Not that good. Yeah. LSU's been letting up points. The Tigers are tied 103rd nationally in average yards per reception allowed.
Right.
With almost 13, which is insane. Another one, like I discussed, Jaden Daniels, key, big factor. Can he have a Heisman moment in this game? Because that'd be now be the time, man. That'll be the time. Because he's putting up a passer efficiency mark of over 200, which is insane. Last one. Who can establish the run? Who can establish the run?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
we know there's been a lot of questions on the LSU side with the running because their starting running back was out for the first couple games because of some off the field issues. And
Yeah.
honestly, Jaden Daniels runs the ball more than them
Yeah,
at the end of the day. But who's on
he
the
really
other
is
side?
the running back.
Who's on the other side? I forget what his name is because he's been actually playing well lately. Their running back. I know he's number 2. McMillan?
No. I know who you're thinking.
It's something with an M.
It is. It's like McClendon or something.
McClellan? I gotta know.
I got you. I know the name is escaping me too.
Because in last year's meeting, Jaden Daniels had more rushing yards than all the LSU running backs combined.
Yeah, Jace McClellan.
Jace McClellan. Okay.
He's had a very nice year, and Jermaine Burton has had a really, really good year, wide receiver for Alabama. And that's the thing for me is LSU's defense is so bad that almost any offense can score on them. But the thing is, can Alabama's offense pace LSU's offense? Because we know Alabama's defense is going to show up, but if LSU's offense really has an A-plus game, and Jaden Daniels looks like a Heisman caliber quarterback, it's going to be really tough for Alabama's offense to pace that. But if they turn it into a bit of a dogfight, a bit of a scrappy one, where they go back and forth, I think Alabama can pull out in the end. I do.
I agree with that statement. Because you look back at that LSU-Ole Miss game, both bad defenses, but Ole Miss pulled that one out at the end.
Yeah.
And it was a high-scoring game. It was pretty crazy.
But Ole Miss has the offense for it.
Exactly. And so they could be able to match that LSU. But Bama, in that case, may not have that crazy match of an offense, but they do have that legit defense.
And that's the thing, is if the defense can stifle LSU, the offense on this LSU defense should be able to score points. But if it turns into a shootout, I'm sorry, but I cannot trust Jalen Milroe to get it done, even at home. So it really depends on which kind of game we get. I think it's going to be more of the latter. We're going to get a game that's scrappy, that's tough, that's physical. And in the end, Alabama gets it done. I'm going Alabama -3. The public heavy on Bama. 78% of the public is on Bama. But I picked my spots with Bama this year, and this is one where I'm going to back the public and go with the Tide. I just cannot get myself to take this LSU team unless I see it first. Their only big win was against Missouri, and that was a game where we picked LSU to cover, and we got lucky because of a late pick 6. I mean,
LSU may not always LSU's not always going to have that luck.
Exactly. I just don't see it happening. And Nick Saban, I think he's done a really nice job with this team. It's not his most talented team, but they're playing winning football.
And they've only got one loss, man.
And their only loss is to Texas.
And right now, if Ole Miss might start faltering, and this is another statement game for Alabama to be like, we're taking the SEC West.
They can do it
because it's them two and Ole Miss just climbing on the back. And the crazy thing is if LSU beats Alabama, they're kind of in like an intertwined circle of Ole Miss beating LSU and LSU beating Bama and Bama beating Ole Miss, and they're just all sitting there with 2 losses, just
literally
everyone beating each other. So there's a lot riding on this game. I really would love to take LSU, but you got to trust Nick Saban guiding Jalen Milroe at home and that Bama defense. That's really all it comes down to, right? I mean, if it starts running away, Jaden Daniels definitely can light it up. But remember what happened last year. Remember how good both of those teams were playing in that game, and LSU survived in that one. But the fact that they don't have a defense, even with Alabama having a lesser quarterback in Jalen Milroe, it's hard to believe that they're going to pull off something like that again. Even at home, right?
Yeah, and this Bama defense much better than they were last year. And Alabama lost in the last play of the game to LSU, right? If that happens again, Nick Saban's going to have
a fit.
He'll be irate. He does not want to lose this game, especially after last year. So I think Alabama wins. You're not getting any love here. There's no field goal hook here. At worst, I feel like we push. I think Alabama wins this game.
Yeah.
by more than 3 easily. But yeah, man, those are Week 10 picks. You want to run it down?
Roll Tide, man.
Roll Tide for sure, and we're gonna run it down here. In our opener, K-State, Texas. Texas 3.5-point favorites. Me and Justin are both on the Wildcats of Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Game 2. Missouri heads to Athens. Me and Justin on Georgia minus 15.5.
Yes, sir.
Go Dogs, baby. Go Dogs. Game 3.
The only split.
Sooner heads to Oklahoma State, the Battle of Bedlam. I'm on the Sooners minus 5.5. Justin's on the Cowboys plus 5.5. Game 4. The Huskies of Washington head to USC. Me and Justin are on the Trojans plus 3. Fight on. Get it done, Caleb. We believe in you.
Unfortunately.
And then Game 5. LSU heads to Tuscaloosa to take on the Crimson Tide. And me and Justin are both on Bama minus 3. Roll Tide all day long.
Those are the picks. Week 10. Maintaining positivity for me, and Evan's about to jump that arc in the positive.
Yeah, I just follow you every week, and I'll get there someday, right? I mean,
at the stride, man. Hey, man, another week where we're on everything but one.
I know.
That it's been happening a lot more in both college and NFL and in NFL.
It has been. I feel like we're seeing eye to eye more as as the year goes on. We're like, okay, we see what you're doing, Vegas, and we're getting a little bit better at it. Like my numbers. I mean, if you look at it since my 1-9 start in college football, I am 19 and what is my math right here? I'm 19 and 13. If you don't count the ties.
To the moon.
So, I mean, 19 and 13, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
We're up from here, man. All the way up. Helmet game. Hopefully my boys can do it. And the Battle of Bedlam will decide a lot.
Yeah, it'll decide who's positive on the week more likely than not, right?
There's also a lot of big games this week, you know? If Kansas State beats Texas, what happens with Texas? Oklahoma State wins. Where's Oklahoma going? A lot of SEC Big 12 factors here, and potentially the top of the line of the Pac-12 too, with that USC Washington game.
We should expect a lot of movement in the college football playoff rankings, especially after this week. And don't be surprised if a certain team doesn't even get invited to the college football playoff.
Wow.
I'm looking at you, winged helmet. We'll see what the Big Ten wants to do with Michigan football. New stuff comes out every day.
New stuff comes out every day, and I'm not going to fight it because what will happen will happen. And, you know, obviously there's a lot wrong with it. But my thing is all these articles are being brought up, and it seems like no one from the NCAA or actual Michigan is making real statements. It's just article after article of just news that people are hearing, and they're just making articles. Like, when are we hearing some real facts and statements coming out from anybody? That's what I'm waiting for.
What do you mean real? Like, there's a Washington Post report.
I mean, like the NCAA itself making a statement, or Michigan itself making a statement
from the entities involved.
Yeah, because if you're in the hunt and
Michigan's declined to make a statement, and the coaches didn't want to talk when the NCAA came to the University of Michigan. They weren't there. They fled. They left the scene. So we're not. And Jim Harbaugh, he refuses to make a real statement on it.
That's because they're waiting for him to go to the Raiders.
Him and JJ together.
Literally, if that happens, that'd be so funny.
I think it could.
I think it could too. He ain't going to Chicago. I don't care what you say. He'll either ride the heat of Michigan before he goes to Chicago, or he'll go.
I think it seriously could.
If
it'll be a condition. Like, I'm not, like, if I come here, we're drafting JJ. Like, I don't care. And I mean,
JJ would have to be on board.
I wouldn't be opposed. I think that could be a really good story. It'd be funny.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be,
and then everyone hate the Raiders.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty good meme, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be opposed to it happening. I think it'd be comical and, you know, classic Harbaugh, really.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see, man. Tough to see the program because I know how you. I know your struggle.
Yeah, it's not fun when everyone is throwing dirt in your face, right?
It's true. I know, and the thing is, it's not. It's tough, right? because yours is more like extreme off the field issues, and ours is extreme on the field issues,
Yeah,
right?
it was our coach getting into a very like unsolicited relationship, and
And
it just tears the program apart.
they just disappear.
And there's nothing that the players could have done, right? There's nothing that administration or the board could have done outside of just letting him go.
The thing
the thing is, I feel like Harbaugh, I feel like he's either going to get suspended this season at some point again,
mm-hmm.
or Michigan will just be left out of the college football playoff. They'll just say no.
Interesting.
Like the Big Ten will find a way to not allow them to go.
My thing is, I feel like I guess everything depends on what more will come out, and also how the Penn State and Ohio State games transpire.
Yeah, that is true. It'd be a real shame if Michigan went 12-0 and then didn't get to go to the playoff, because
I feel like money-wise, the NCAA wouldn't even let that happen, because they try to get a money grab and just make sure that Michigan just can't do it, right?
I only say it'd be a shame because everyone knows about it now. So for them to sign and steal their first 7 games or whatever against inferior opponents,
and then everyone knows and everyone has a game plan, and if they still beat the crap out of the better opponents, then what do you say then?
They might say, well, they had our signs before and we had to change it, and I don't really know.
There's always going to be something.
But the fact that it has happened for over a year now, right? It's been documented, but potentially
it took until now for it to be stated.
It's pretty wild. But
why would this not come out before the season?
Outside investigative firm kind of took over, and
all those signs pointing to Ryan Day.
If it was funded by OSU, more power to the Bucks, man. They have every right, if something's going on, to say we don't think something's right there. Go investigate. You could do that with any school could do that. Just because it's your rival, you can't hold it against them. You're the ones that cheated. You can't blame the person that told on you because you were doing something wrong, right?
It's true.
It's true. At some point you got to grow up.
I can't answer any questions. I'm not on the stand. I didn't do it.
He did it. That's Connor Stallions right here.
I was laughing so hard, and they're really trying to be. Do you think that was him at the Central Michigan game?
Dude, if it wasn't, somebody would have come out and said, "Hey, it's me. That's not Connor. I work for Central Michigan."
How does he get on the field, though?
I don't know.
Is Jim McElwain just that much of a scum?
The Navy. You think he can't sneak in somewhere? He's probably got all that, military IQ.
Yeah, they just have video surveillance of him scaling down the side of East Lansing.
He's a smart guy. He's a brilliant guy. He came up with this very elaborate and excessive scheme.
He's crazy.
He's smart, dude. He's brilliant. It's ingenious what he was able to get.
Yeah, but he got caught.
Well, yeah, that's where
How is that ingenious? And then you have the manifesto.
The Michigan Manifesto.
It's crazy. All right, we've taken enough time going off. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the picks, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.